All right, so there we go. I think. let, let me know if you can hear me. I'm going to start the Instagram live. So here we go. Are we? Is it working? So, hello, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing tea people. Welcome to the first ever Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram live stream. Hoping that all of this works out. And if you can't hear me, then let me know. If you can hear me, then that's great. But I think it should be all ready to go. I just got to see. Got to. Okay, all right. So Facebook's working well. Everybody can hear me. Let's go. Let's do this. So, hello, all you beautiful, amazing, wonderful tea people. I certainly hope today is going well for you. I have done a bunch of different things. I guess it's okay. There's I got camera lights up. Although this one doesn't seem to be quite as bright as that one, but the sunlight's coming in from over here. And I'm on StreamYard. So what's going on? I've got my laptop in front of me right here. So on StreamYard, I'm doing YouTube and Facebook all at the same time. And so if you write a comment into YouTube or Facebook, it goes in here down below here and I can see it. I've got a webcam and a cell phone set up right there so that they're basically side by side. And the reason that I cannot put Instagram in with StreamYard is because Instagram is vertical and the other ones are horizontal. And so you can't do that. And so there we go. It's a tough one. I've got to work out on the angle because I got to be able to get the tea in with the, anyways, whatever. Let's get started. Wherever you are, I hope you're doing absolutely wonderfully well. And today we're talking about high mountain black teas. And I went through, there might be some people that are going to be pretty excited about this one. So I went through, I don't know if you can hear it. Let's see if you can. Oh, here. Can you hear it? So this is Alishan Red. And this is about 3 years worth of Alishan Red. And the Alishan Red in here, let me just sort of show you what it looks like. So it's about 3 years worth of Alishan Red because Alishan Red tends to do this. So you can see in Chinese, you say shui shui de. It's all powdery. And when it gets all really powdery like that, then I don't sell it. High tech, good to catch you live. Well, Kim, I hope you're doing absolutely wonderfully well. And I'm going to do, I'll throw it out there. I'll throw it out there just at the start. What I'm going to be doing now is I paid for StreamYard for 1 month. So I'm going to get my money's worth and see if I want to keep it. And how that basically works is I want to interview some people. And so, Kim, you had that situation where you were doing a tea class. And so I don't know if you're interested in talking about it, then we can try it out. But basically what I want to do is I want to interview as many people as I possibly can. And I also was listening to my live yesterday and I was realizing that I keep doing like this. And why I do that, I'm a trained, see, I just did it again. I'm a trained classical singer. And when you're a trained classical singer, when you're getting ready for the next section of songs, then you breathe like this. And then you do it like that. But you're not supposed to make that noise. I love my tea class as well. That's awesome. And Coco, I hope you're doing absolutely wonderfully well as well. And so we're going to try and I guess we could do like live tea classes, right? I mean, we could get people to join in on Streamlab and have actual live tea classes. Yes, my tea workshop. We just had our last session for the semester and we'll start up again late January. Awesome. I hope it's going wonderfully well. And the videos got me to be a loyal customer. Well, there we go. I'm always, again, right now, if I showed you the shift quote unquote studio that I've got here. Anyways, I'm glad it's on the internet, right? So you guys can just see this. I dug out, I don't know if anybody remembers when I first started out, I had terrible product photography way back in the day. I had terrible product photography way back in the day. And I had these lights for that terrible product photography and I just dug them out of storage. And so I set them up. Anyways, I appreciate it. And I'm glad you enjoy the videos. And now they're going to Facebook and YouTube all live, all together, way back in the day. Or sorry, not way back in the day. Anyways, what am I doing here? What are we drinking today? Now, first thing we're going to drink, like I said, we've got this Alishan Red, right? So it's just basically powder, Alishan powder. So we're going to drink some of that. I also dug out a High Mountain Black from about 4 or 5 years ago that we're going to try. It's an aged version of this tea, so we're going to try this out. This one is from the original Pear Mountain farm. And so we're going to try that one out. Then we got this one, which is the Lishan Black. And this one we're going to talk about oxidization levels and why this is. You can actually see it in the leaves, hopefully. It's kind of green. And then this, just as a contrast, this is a tea that's at least 4 or 5 years old. But this is from Elan. This is an organic tea from Elan that I bought because I was going to try and do sort of wholesale type things with it. And then it's I didn't. So it's just been sitting there for about 4 years now. So we're gonna go over all of those teas. That's what we're gonna do today, and we're just gonna drink them and talk about High Mountain oolongs. All of these teas, I believe, are Chin Shin. This one, I don't actually know what cultivar it is, but we're gonna explore it. We're gonna check it out and we're gonna explore it. So let's get these ready to go, and then we're gonna dump them in the hot water. Now, I just mentioned before, we just see this tiny corner and the map of Taiwan that looks like a tea leaf. Yes, exactly. And you know, it's funny. I was driving through Taroko Gorge the other day. Remember, I moonlight as a wilderness tourist guide, and but I was there with my family because Taiwan is opening up, right? So Taiwan is opening up, and things are getting better for travel. This actually might be saleable. This actually might be saleable. It's a machine pick. There's a few too many stems in there, but we're gonna see how it goes. Anyways, this is a low elevation. It's only about like 300 meters above sea level, and there's just one part of Taroko Gorge, right? So this place that was my office for many years, and there's this one part, and there's a parking lot, and it's at the end of the Swallows Grotto. I don't know if anybody's been to Taiwan. If you've been to Taroko Gorge, if you have been to Taroko Gorge, then you would have remembered visiting the Swallows Grotto, because it's this place. It's this road that's cut out of the marble. It was actually cut out by hand by Chiang Kai-shek's leftover soldiers. Anyways, it's a really fascinating story. And so there's this part after that where if you lay, there's not a big part, there's a parking lot. If you lay down in the middle of the parking lot and you look up at the sky, then that section of the gorge looks like Taiwan. And it's actually quite a dangerous spot, because you get a bunch of people that are laying down on the ground in the middle of this parking lot to take this picture of Taiwan. And it's and anyways, that just made me think about it. But yes, it does absolutely look like a tea leaf. Absolutely. An oolong tea leaf, to be exact, because it's been rolled around a bit. Anyways, let's keep going with these teas. Now, like I said, I went through my storage area and I picked out these teas because I wanted to have a really good range of High Mountain black teas. And we got our control here. This is the low elevation black tea, right? Now, hey man, how's it going? And so when you're looking at these teas, when you're looking at the teas that are from high elevation teas versus low elevation teas, when you're looking at the black teas, excuse me, the first thing you're going to talk about, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to see a big difference in bitterness and astringency. Generally speaking, the higher up you go, the less bitterness and astringency you're getting, the higher up you go. The lower down you are, the more bitterness and astringency you're getting in your tea leaf. And that's just a general way. You can have bitter teas up here, you can have teas that are not bitter down below, but it's a general way of understanding the way it works. And that's mostly due to the heat, how fast the tea leaves grow. But there's also a certain aspect, well, it ties into the heat. But when you are creating the teas, unless you're creating a white tea, you're looking at oxidization. And when you're oxidizing a tea, you are trying to get a constant temperature, and depending on what you're doing, you want that constant temperature for a longer time. And the more stable the temperature and lower the temperature within reason, the better the tea is going to turn out. So that's why oftentimes when you're making high mountain teas, they kind of taste a little better, right? Because you've got that, think about the moderation of the high mountains. The days are oftentimes that the temperature is basically the same, whereas lower elevations, think about a desert, right? You can have huge ranges in temperature, just with the temperature of everything that's going on, huge ranges. Whereas in the higher mountains, it sort of goes like this. Whereas a lower, it can go like this throughout the day. If the sun's out, if it's cloudy, all these different types of things. And so when you're making teas in the higher elevations, you're usually getting more constant temperature, and so it's a little bit easier to oxidize the teas. I'll switch to YouTube. Okay, well, there you go. Oh, hey, now you're in YouTube. Oh, okay, right on. There we go. So I've got comments on all three things going live. So all three. We got Instagram, we got Facebook, we got YouTube. I'm over 40. This is exciting for me. Anyways, let's keep going. Let's keep going. And so when you're looking at all of these things, when you're thinking about all of these things in the way that we are right now, in trying to understand what makes high mountain black teas, temperature of the oxidation process is one of the big ones. Right? One of the very, very big ones. And what also happens with that, when you're looking at that, what's happening with that? Wait till you're over 60. Well, when I'm over 60, I'll just have one of those Musk slave chips, and I'll just go boop, just like that, right? And then be all the dystopian boop. But yes, when I'm 60 in another 20 years or so, that'll be, I wonder, I'll be able to just like take it and stick it in the camera, and you guys can drink it with me, right? Anyway, so when we're looking at the black teas, what makes them so special? We talked about this temperature, we talked about all these different things, but what makes it so special about the black teas, the high elevation black teas, what makes them so special is the fact that you can't actually oxidize them 100%. So the higher elevation teas, you can't actually get to 100% of oxidation. You can't do it. Now, you can add heat to it, right? So a lot of people they'll add heat to make it go to 100%, or they will do other things to do it. But that means that higher elevation black teas have sort of just ingrained inside of them, they have oolong characteristics. And the most strong oolong characteristics would be red fruit. Red fruit. High mountain, Taiwanese black teas have a very, very strong red fruit taste. That's their thing. That's the thing that makes it come out. That's what it is, right? If you're not getting that red fruit taste, you sort of go, I don't know. So comment is, YouTube seems to have better definition. Absolutely, YouTube has better definition because I'm using two different cameras here. So I've got my what is it? It's a iPhone 8 Plus, right? So an iPhone 8 Plus. I bought this phone literally to start this business, and then on top of it, I put my fancy webcam. So basically, I'll just do it. Just say it quickly again. How I'm doing this is I bought a month of Streamlab. I've got a webcam. I'm sticking it through Streamlab. It's going from Streamlab to Facebook and to YouTube. And then I can't do that with Instagram because it's vertical. And so I am also running my phone uh, through the vertical. And you want to just iPhone 8 still works. It does. iPhone 8's fine. It really does. What is it? iPhone 14 right now? Anyways, the point is that it all still works. It's all still going. And there we go. Got to get my fancy spoon. And let's see. I need a cup. There's my fancy spoon in my cup. And oh yeah, so the point is that YouTube and Facebook will have better definition because they're using a webcam. Why don't we get into the teas? I'll describe the teas first. Currently drinking Pear Mountain Rich. Well, on a day like today, if the weather's like where it is for you, Pear Mountain Rich is a great one. Today, I went out for a run. Well, not really a run, a walk, and then I go up and downstairs, and then I do some push-ups. But it was just beautiful today. You know, partly cloudy and just gorgeous. I'm actually looking forward to these teas, especially this one. I haven't had Alishan Red for like a year and a half. What are these teas? This one is a certified organic, 5-year-old, low elevation. My guess is Chin Oolong, but I'll try and tell. It might be Jintren cultivar tea that I bought 5 years ago. Lowest elevation, cheapest tea, but still pretty high quality tea. This one. This one here is the one that's on the site right now, and it's unique, and I'm hoping, actually I can already see it already. This one is the Lishan Red. It's actually made by an all-woman team, which is pretty amazing. And excuse me, this one here, out of all the teas, it is the lowest elevation. They kept it a little green. And we'll get into the taste of what happens when you keep it a little green. Because it's well, I don't know if anybody out there has tried it yet. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing what happens. This one here is the Alishan Red. And tragically, it didn't get made this year at all. Like the whole year just didn't get made. And you know, I gave them. Well, I can't swear. I'm on too many different platforms. I gave them bad words when I saw them last. I was like, "No, come on, you got to do it. You got to make this tea." And unfortunately, they just didn't. The weather up in Alishan this year was really good in the spring, and then it got really crap away for the rest of the year. And so they just didn't. Actually, it was okay for the spring and okay for the winter, but they just couldn't. The summertime was off. And then this one here is. Oh, what's going on? Okay, so let me know if the YouTube and the Facebook is not doing the right thing. Anyways, this one here is an experiment. And I've been sitting on it for a while. Actually, I think I released. No, I didn't. This tea is an experiment done about 5 years ago at the original Pear Mountain farm, and I haven't had this tea for about 2 years now. And so we're gonna go through this, and we're gonna try them out. Anyways, let's start with the control. Now, why is this tea? This tea was super cheap because it's machine picked, it's low elevation, and it's full of stuff like this. So it was full of thick. Yeah. Hey, whoa! Look at that. The webcam actually, goes. There we go. Webcam actually goes into it. So thick stems, and when you see this, thick stems like this is not a good thing, right? Thick stems like this, it doesn't give you the best tea. Doesn't taste all that good, and the people make money from it because it's heavier, right? So you don't really want that in your tea. But this is full of it. It's just sort of full of it. And we'll see how this is. We'll see how it is. If it's good, then I can sell it. It was literally just sitting on a shelf for months and months, or for years and years, I should say. So here we go. Now, when I first tried this tea, it was quite bitter and astringent. And we'll get into the aging of this teas because one of these teas you cannot age. One of these teas you cannot age. Can anybody guess which tea, which one of these you cannot age? Now, it's not this one. Actually, it's pretty easy to tell which one you can't really. Yeah, this one. Okay, so we know that. So this one here, it's bumping it out. Somebody who's watching on Facebook or YouTube, can you tell me whether it's actually on my end? It's bumping in and out. Is it doing it for you as well? Hopefully not. Anyways, it's all running off of the Wi-Fi from my phone, so I might have to hook up the Wi-Fi here as well just to make it work a little better. Now, this tea is actually really good. When I first tried it, it was pretty bitter and astringent, and now it's a sweet, low elevation black tea. It's actually pretty good. It's actually okay for the price point. I think I can probably, I don't know, maybe I'll throw it in a subscription box in the next couple months so people can see how tea ages, fresh versus aged. Oh wait, so this is the Lishan Red. This is on the site right now. So different. Why do people love High Mountain Oolongs from Taiwan? The Coca-Cola of tea, because of the flowing nature, the lightness, the airiness of those teas. That's why people love those teas. Right? They absolutely love them because of that. This black tea does not have that. This does. Now remember what I said before, there is that red fruit taste. It jumps out of this tea. It literally jumps out of this tea. Now, I sort of, anyways, it's not, I asked the question which one couldn't be aged. Well, the answer is this one, the Lishan. And why is that? Why can this one not be aged? Well, what did I tell you about these ones, right? This is 100% oxidized. These guys are close to 100% oxidized, not all the way. We haven't gotten to that. We'll get to that in a minute. But this one is not. It's not close. And it's hard to tell with the lighting. If you were here in person, you could absolutely see that this is a different color than the rest of them, right? It's a different color than the rest of them. So this one is a greenish, it's got a greenish tinge to it. And what that means is old tea masters would say they cheated. That's what old tea masters would say. This is not a black tea. This is an oolong. And they're fair, right? Fair. But when you don't oxidize it all the way, the really fruity, beautiful flavors that you would get only from the oolongs that are oxidized out in the black teas stay. And if you don't go all the way, they become the dominant flavors. They become the dominant flavor. And in this tea, that red fruit is the dominant flavor. Now, there's not very much of this tea. I just bought all they had left, which I think was about 2 kilograms. Excuse me. I bought all of it. So 2 kilograms of tea coming in, and that's it. There's no more of this tea. And this tea you shouldn't age. It'll last about 2 years. So you drink it now, and then it'll last for about 2 years. It'll be fine. 2 years, it'll be great. Can you see the color difference in the stream? Let's try. Okay, here we go. Let's try. I'm going to pull out a little bit. And it's tough. It's really, really tough. I think you can. Oh, yeah. I think you probably can. So again, you shouldn't be sticking your fingers into the leaves like this, but there's no one else out in this. There's no one else in this room except for us. And anyways, that's, so let's see. Does it work? Yeah, it does. It does. Right. So you can sort of see here. This one. Wait, let's see. I'll get it in the light here. This one is a little bit greener. This one's darker. On the Instagram, you can sort of see it. This one's much darker, and this one's a little bit lighter, greener, maybe grayer. Oh, there we go. Oh, oh, oh. Sorry, the one down there is the one down. It's noticeable. Oh, good, good, good. I'm glad. Um, so the on the laptop, it's the right way, and then on the Instagram, it's flipped. So, anyways, so good. I'm glad you can notice it, and and so when you're looking at this tea, like I can already smell it. I mean, this tea is just it's so good, right? Like this tea is just so good, and um, it's been aging for a while. I think it's a bunch of different years all mixed together. Uh, and so this is the Alishan Red is oxidized more, but it's still not oxidized all the way. And with this guy, he's awesome. He's so funny. Um, I was saying the difference in the soup as well. Yeah, you can tell a difference. Yeah, yeah, you can tell a difference in the soup as well for sure. It's not as dramatic as the leaves though. And this guy who makes this tea, it's always so funny because he's an Aboriginal guy, and he's stoic, he's strong. Him and his wife, I love them. They're so much fun to talk to. But if he was from sort of Western culture, I definitely call. I don't know. I wouldn't. Maybe a hippie. I don't know if I would call him. Anyways, he's one of those guys where he goes by the weather, he goes by the temperature, and all these types of things. So sometimes I've tried a couple of these teas where it was hot weather, he oxidized it all the way, and then a couple times it was cold weather, didn't oxidize all the way. And I'm not sure whether he does it on purpose or whether he's just literally just whatever's going on with the weather, he just does whatever's going on in the weather, right? Because he's one of those guys. The bugs ate too much. I can't pick. I don't want to hurt the plants. That's who I want to support. Right? Those are the types of people 100% I want to support. And so when he's making these teas and the ones that turn out really really well, that there's a quasi cult following of the Alishan Red. Uh, it's about the weather. It's about the oxidation levels. And say this one would be to, well, I say 88%, 90%. This one's going up to 95%. So you're getting the best of both worlds, sort of mixed together. You're getting the best of both worlds. Anyways, it's much closer to black tea. I'll definitely have to pick up some of that Alishan Red. Well, um, same here. Well, there is none, right? You got to wait until like next. Anyways, when it comes back, you should try it because it's awesome. And he also does the organic Alishan. That's his stuff too. And that's one of those things where sometimes it's like, what happened? And it's the weather. He uses Ben Franklin's Poor Richard's Almanac, right? He's one of those guys who's up there and he's using those types of things, and I love supporting him. Right? I love supporting him, and it's so funny because every year they go to the November tea show, and they're mountain folk, and they're there at the tea show, and it's always so funny to see them because they're so excited and uncomfortable. Like they're at the tea show, bright lights everywhere, crowds. I'm always so happy to see them. They're always so happy to see me because they're just like, oh, I know you, like this. And anyways, they're awesome people, and supporting them is basically why I do this job. Um, I still have some Alishan Red from the last picking. I mean, you're making us want to drink tea, but it's nighttime here. Well, that's it. I'm trying to think about. Do I do like maybe on Friday? No, not Friday. Saturday night. My time would be Saturday morning. Most of my customers' time, and then I can stay up all late on Saturday. Anyways, we'll figure it out. But don't drink tea. Sleep is better than tea. No, sleep is better than tea when you have the freedom to drink tea during the day. If you only had time to drink tea at night, you'd have to think about it. Now let's go to this one. When I bought this one, I could, but I have to get up at 4 a.m. Well, you're better than me. I don't wake up until 8 a.m. And my kids are always like, you should be waking up earlier, because they wake up at like 7:30. Yeah, what you gonna do? But awesome. I hope, that's 4 a.m. wake ups are awesome. Okay, lots to talk about with this one. Should I go into the whole story? We won't go into the whole story. Basically, there was a year and a half where I bought the tea from this farm, and then the quality dropped off substantially, and then I stopped buying it. And now I should go and visit them again because it's been long enough. This was an experiment that they did like 5 years ago. They'd never done black tea before. They just did it. I bought some of it, and I released some of it, but it's been sitting on a shelf ever since, and it needs a touch up. Now, this tea is very similar to the Lishan. They're both Lishan teas, right? This is on one side of the road, and this is on the other side of the road. And what you're looking at with this tea, it's the green tea. It's got that beautiful fruit flavor coming out. This is the same style of tea. It wasn't 100% oxidized, right? It wasn't 100% oxidized. And it didn't age as well as I'd hoped. Now, what I should do is put it on a low roast, a little touch up, and see if I can save it a bit. It'd be kind of fun for that. It'd be kind of fun. But the fruit flavor is still there, but it's gone, maybe a little sour. Again, this tea is great. It's perfect to drink right now. For the next 2 years, it's going to be amazing. But after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, it's a little too green. It's not really good to age. Whereas this tea, you could age it forever, and it'll just get better and better and better. Cats wake me up at 4 a.m. Are there oolongs back to the original quality? No idea. Hey, you want to hear a funny story? So last night, 12:56, I looked it up. So 1 o'clock in the morning, whole family sleeping. Whole house starts to shake. There's an earthquake, right? Earthquake last night. You can look it up. It was down Phong Binh. If you look at the east coast of Taiwan, you can look up that earthquake. It was a 5.6. I wake up and I go, stops. I go back to sleep. My oldest son goes back to sleep. My youngest son goes, oh, Mom, it's an earthquake. He goes back to sleep. My wife goes back to sleep. 5.6. I wake up in the morning. I go downstairs. I'm drinking my coffee. My oldest son says, hey, do you notice the earthquake last night? I'm like, yeah. I think it was a 5.8. He goes, no, it was a 5.5. I go, 5.8. He goes, 5.5. I'm like, okay. So I take out my phone. I go into my phone and I'm like, 5.6. He's like, yeah, I win. So that's how used we are. You're talking about the cats waking you up at 4 a.m. That's how used we are to the earthquakes at this point. It was so my son won. He guessed 5.6 and I guessed 5.8. But to be fair, I was thinking it was further away. It was closer. So he won. But yeah, you can, if you want to see whether I'm lying or not, you can literally check it out. You can go check it out. Go to the go on the internet and ask about earthquakes in Taiwan. See this one, very easy to tell it's a lower elevation tea. but it is hotter weather. It aged better than this tea over here. This tea over here didn't age as well. And so when I put them side by side, there's a little bit of that maybe sourness, maybe like just a little bit of an offness to it. Any aftershocks? You know what? I don't think there has been any aftershocks. That's a good question. I don't think there has been any aftershocks yet. Now, I'm an expert when it comes to earthquakes, which is hilarious. Expert for here when it comes to earthquakes, not all over the world. And but that's a good point. It was in a place that doesn't. It wasn't really a normal fault line. It was a little bit off the beach in the ocean. So I'm not expecting there to be the ramp up to a bigger earthquake. But there hasn't been any earthquake or any aftershock. But there probably will be one sometime this morning. So sometime this morning there'll probably be one. So we had an earthquake here too a few days ago. Didn't even notice it. Yes, well that's it. I'm too used to the small quakes. Well, I'm used to the medium ones too. You know, here in Walian. Thankfully, we're in one of those places where if you don't get earthquakes, you get nervous. Right? If you don't have earthquakes, you get nervous. You're supposed to have a bunch of small ones all the time, basically constant earthquakes. That's the way it should go. And out of focus, back in focus, out of focus. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, back in focus. Okay, went back in focus. Okay, good. Works out well. Questions about these teas. So again, this one, Elan, about 200 meters above sea level. This one here is 1,900 and above, so 2,000 meters above sea level, produced this summer in sort of the Lishan area, but sort of in the backside. You got to drive down the road. You keep driving. There's a road that actually is broken, but you got to drive. And anyways, I know other places. Here, this is Alishan proper, so just in Alishan proper, and then this one here is the sort of the other side of the Lishan area, and from a couple years ago. Actually, both of these are from the same age. They're about the same age. So this would be about 4 or 5 years old. This is about 4 or 5 years old. I don't remember exactly. But this one, I can throw it on the site. It's cheap. And it's certified organic. So that's another thing to remember when you're looking at these types of things. When you have a high quality leaf, no matter what you do to it, chances are if you leave it, you let it rest, it'll turn out into something good. And it doesn't really matter. If it's a high quality organic leaf, no matter what you do with it, it's probably going to turn out okay. If you age it or you let it sit, you treat it with respect, it'll probably get better over time. Certainly develop more. I'll give you an example. I don't know how much is left, maybe 100 grams or something like that. But out of all the lower elevation teas, and probably Chin Chin Oolong, on the site, the highest quality leaf comes from the monks in Pingling. It's been organic since the start. The tea trees are old. It's amazing material. But the monks they have right now are not the best tea producers. The guy who was there before, he left, and now they've got new people taking care of it. What that means is they have really, really good material, but the people that are making it perhaps are not the most skilled. And this year's Monk's Honey Black was a little bit over-oxidized. Now, it's still pretty good. I still bought it. It was still good, but it was a little bit over-oxidized. And I was wondering what was going to happen to it. And I tried it the other day, and now it's like rogue way. It's like cinnamon. It was just like, wow, what is this? You know, and there's a little bit of sweetness in there, but it was quite amazing. It was quite amazing. But they didn't do it on purpose, right? It was like It was like just a random, like they weren't going for the cinnamon. Um, and so when you're looking at that high quality material, right? This is high quality material. It sits in the bag for 10 years. It'll still be good. It'll still be good. Which tea is your favorite so far out of these teas? Hmm, that's a good question. Um, Certainly, this one is the biggest surprise. I didn't think. Excuse me, I had a little bit of stem in there. Uh, I didn't think this was going to be as good as it was. It's good. It's really good. This one is. I mean, it's kind of a one-note tea, kind of. But I tried a ton of high mountain blacks at the you know every year I try a ton of high mountain blacks, and this really did have. It doesn't last as long as I wish it did. The upfront is so strong though that it's just kind of fun, right? Would I say it's my favorite? No, but I think that if you're a fan of the genre, the high mountain blacks, then this is a good one for you. Like it's just one of those teas where you're just like, wow. It's a great tea for beginners too, because it's easy to brew. There's no edges to it, and people can't imagine that there is that flavor. People cannot imagine there's a flavor that comes out of a tea like that, a black tea, right? And again, we've gone over. It's not really a black tea. It's a kind of an oolong tea, but you know what I'm talking about. This tea is just a classic. I'm realizing now that putting all the different years together and having them sit in powder, yeah, probably not the best way to age this tea. It's there's a touch of bitterness in there that it's got all the beautiful flavors in there, but there's also a touch of bitterness in there, which means that I did something wrong in storing it. But it was just powder, right? It's just the powder. I think the powder might have released too much, perhaps. When you've got the full leaf, it's slower, and you can get multiple steeps. And you got the tea bag, right? The tea bag effect. So this is mostly powder, so that might be it. All those flavors, I can taste multiple years in there. So this is not my favorite, but I didn't expect it to be. I just used it as an example of a tea that would be on the spectrum. So overall, and this one is nice, but like I said, it didn't age all that well. So I guess these two would be my favorite out of today's stuff. High quality tea will speak. High quality material will speak for itself, no matter what. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And that's just one of those things that you figure out the further into tea you get. All right, the further into tea you get, you just sort of figure it out. Now, these two teas I did on the live stream yesterday, and so I didn't talk about these two teas. But this is the Jade Mountain Red. Jade Mountain Red would be in the equivalent of this. It's not quite as high quality, but it's not quite the high price as well. So the Jade Mountain Red, if you want an Alishan Red of the same taste profile, so at 95% oxidation rate, then it's this one here, which is the Jade Mountain Red. And it's worth it. It's worth it. The Jade Mountain Red, not quite as good as the Alishan Red, but it's in the same ballpark. And then this one here was this beautiful fresh black tea. And I got the price on it, and it's not that expensive. So I might have to give it like a fancy name, like fresh and fruity black. Okay, no, I won't call it that. It's actually pretty good. So I might get this tea as well, because it is the most classically black tea. Actually, I'm gonna after I finish the live stream, I'll have some of it myself. But it's the most classically black tea I've ever come across from the high mountains. It's absolutely 100% oxidized, made by masterly hands. Might call it, I don't know, old master. High Mountain Black. Ooh. Ooh. I might call it Old Master High Mountain Black. Anyways, that's gonna happen, and yeah, I think I'm gonna get it. But those are also some same teas in the ballpark. And right now, I would say out of all of these teas, I probably enjoy these two teas the most. These are certified organic teas as well, and I do enjoy those teas a lot. Okay, do they have the multi-sweet notes like Chinese Yunnan black teas? This one does. This one does. This one does a little bit, but again, it's a low elevation tea. It's not, you're not getting that really craziness. This tea does not. Now, say the older Yunnan blacks, what you get in that is you got that malty sweetness with the red fruit if it's done well, right? That red cherry, beautiful red cherry if it's done well. This is just the red cherry, right? Without sort of the malt in the background, it pulls out that fruit flavor and just puts it in a ball, and then when you consume it, it's like right there, right there, and so it has that. But that is a very good. That is a very good comparison. The High Mountain Blacks are similar to the Chinese Yunnan Blacks. They are quite similar. This one would be more. It boils down to the oxidation levels, right? Yunnan Blacks, they actually oxidize it all the way. Oftentimes they'll sun dry it as well. Nobody sun dries in Taiwan. Like nobody sun dries, which is something that I wish more people would do. I wish they would. The problem is that, anyways, I won't say what the problem is. Point is, I wish they would more sun dry. Oftentimes those black teas get some time out in the sun, which brings out a real sweet, beautiful flavor. I tried to vacuum seal some teas myself and crushed it all to bits. So I'm learning a lot. Oh no. Yes, that's the thing. I am very experienced doing it, and it depends on the machine in the bag and all that type of stuff. If you want some tips, Spirit Wing there. If you want some tips, then get in touch, and it probably boils down to the machine. But just get in touch if you want some tips. Definitely looking for a good morning black tea. We'll try some out. I wonder if you have a good black tea sampler. That is a brilliant idea. That is a brilliant idea. I don't have my pen, but a black tea sampler would be really good. Now, I'm going to throw this out there. If you are used to or like Lipton style teas, and that's the Asamoka tea, try the Asamoka teas on the site. The number 8 Asamoka, Sun Moon number 8 Asamoka, and the Luye Red Oolong, Asamoka Red Oolong. They're super high quality, and those types of teas from the past that people would have been used to. They're teas that are super high quality, super good. And if there's somebody around, maybe not you, but maybe somebody around that wanted to add a little bit of milk and sugar to their tea in the morning, those would be the best teas to do it to. But those are perfect. They're strong, but not overwhelmingly strong morning teas. But those are pretty good. Yeah, they're great. They're great morning wake you up teas. These teas, they're more enjoyable. Maybe this one, again, it's not for sale. It's funny. Only one of these 4 teas are actually for sale. I'm doing the advertising wrong. But those teas, those Asamoka teas, they've got the strength and the familiarity. But I think I actually sometimes call it like next level Lipton with those types of teas, because they do have that next level of really good quality. That when you're drinking them in the morning, you brew the heck out of them, and then you again, not you, no, of course not, but maybe somebody else around would add milk and sugar, or just milk and honey, cream and honey. I might have been known to have seen that before myself, but those teas would be perfect for it. Perfect. Good to know. Keep trying to get my parents to try something beyond Lipton. They like the taste. Well, I actually called the Aselmica Red Oolong the converter because a lot of people have used that to convert people into high quality tea because